Good evening. I'm Mario Rosales, your Director of Advanced Academics. We're here today. This is part 3, final part of the 3-part series in reference to the programs that we offer at United ISD. So here I have today the 4 campuses in reference to the Early Start Pathway program. That is not an early college program, so please do not confuse it with the early college program. The Early Start Pathway program is open to anyone that has a certain GPA and also has a certain score on the TSI, which I'll explain that as we go along. The way it's going to work today is as soon as I'm done with the presentation, we have microphones in the front and some in the middle. And if you're welcome to ask questions to any group that you like, and they'll be able to answer to the best of their ability. This session is also being recorded in case parents are not able to join us today. So if you have to leave early, that's fine with us. It'll be recorded, and then we'll post it on the website, and I'll show you where that information is, so in case you need to leave for some reason. So I'm going to start off with Alexander High School, and each of the people that are present there will introduce themselves.
Good afternoon, I'm Elisa Canales. I teach the history and political science courses we offer for the early pathway.
I'm Monica Limon. I teach the college algebra.
Hi, I'm Gabriela Rigal, and I teach the English college courses.
Hello, I'm Michael Rigal, and I teach Introduction to Computing, COSC 1301.
Good evening, my name is Michelle Lopez. I'm the Dean of Early College at Alexander High School.
I'm Jacqueline Garcia. I teach History 1301 and 1302.
Good evening, my name is Krisha Rapani. I'm a senior at AHS, and I've been in Early Start since freshman year.
Good afternoon, I'm Aldo Cantu. I'm an 11th grader at Alexander, and I've also been in the Early Start since freshman year.
Good afternoon, my name is Leonardo Coachella, and I'm a junior and have been in the Early Start pathway since a freshman.
Hello, I'm Red Perez. I'm a junior, and I've been enrolled in Early Start pathway since my freshman year.
LBJ.
Good evening, Gloria Martinez. I teach the English college courses at LBJ High School.
Hello, my name is Emily Benavides Guzman. I'm the academic coordinator at LBJ, and I help oversee the program, the ESP program.
Good evening, my name is Guadalupe Ayala. I'm one of the assistant principals at Johnson High School, and I oversee the Early Start Pathway programs.
Hi, my name is Enrique Tresualo. I am a senior here at OBJ, and I've been in the Early Start Pathway program since as a freshman.
United South.
Good evening. My name is Andrea Garza. I'm an assistant principal at United South High School, and I oversee our Early Start Pathway and dual enrollment programs.
Hello, my name is Kayla Perez, and I've been in the Early Start Pathway since my freshman year.
Hello, my name is Adam Rivas, and I've been a part of the Early Start Pathway since my junior year.
Hi, my name is Milka Medina. I am currently a senior at United South High School, and I am currently balancing college classes and athlete activities.
Good evening, my name is Lucero Perez. I do teach the English 1301 and the English 1302 classes at United South High School.
United High School.
Good evening, everyone. My name is David De La Rosa. I'm assistant principal in charge of the dual program, and I help oversee the Early Start Pathway program at United High School.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Carla Peña. I am the academic coordinator at United High School, and I also oversee the Early Start Pathway.
Good evening. My name is Jesus Gonzalez, and I teach the English courses over at United High School, the dual courses.
Hello, my name is Zara Mondragon, and I've been in the Early Start Pathway since my freshman year.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Carla Rocha, and I've been in the Early Start Pathway since freshman year, and I am a senior.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Emiliano Maldonado. I'm a senior at United High School, and I've also been in the Early Start program since my freshman year.
Thank you very much. Again, thank you for joining us tonight. I know that it's after hours, and we appreciate the time and commitment that you're devoting on this endeavor so that our audience can understand the program, and that way they'll have some more information to make decisions. Okay, so again, the Early Start Pathway is not early college. It's a different program. And this is available to anybody that's in the starting with the 8th grade to qualify as 9th graders, all the way to the 11th grade. You're able to apply for this program all the way to the 11th grade. The early college program, you only are able to join as an 8th grader, okay? So the Early Start Pathway is different in that respect. All right, so first of all, the first thing you need to know is what is dual credit? So dual credit is an opportunity to earn college credit while still in high school. So you heard some of the teachers in terms of the courses that they teach. Well, not only will they get a grade on their high school transcript for that course, but that same grade is going to appear on their college transcript. So that's why they call it college dual credit. So in other words, you get credit for college and for high school. So these courses also provide advanced academic instruction beyond or in greater depth than the Texas Essential Knowledge and Skills, which is a curriculum that's required in Texas. So on top of that, they also cover the curriculum from Laredo College. Laredo College is the institution that works with United ISD very closely in offering these courses through our high school. So remember that they mentioned some courses. So these are the courses that are offered by grade level to your children, depending on what grade they're in. And we offer a total of 33 college credit hours. So in other words, as a freshman, if you start as a freshman, you'll be able to take one course, and it's usually Arts 1301 or Computer Science 1301, depending on which campus you're at. And if it is offered in the spring term to give your child an opportunity to adjust themselves in the fall term to high school, since the freshman year would be the first time they'll be there. When they become sophomores, they'll be able to take History 1301. You'll notice that that particular table that is up there, there's several columns. The second column is essentially the college course. The third column is the high school course. And the tier means the weight that is given to that course. So if there's a 1 there, that means that the student gets 10 extra points added to their GPA. If there's a 1 there, okay? So you'll notice that most of them have a 1, so that means that after they're done and they get a 70 or better, they get 10 extra points added to their grade point average. All right? So then when they become juniors, that's when they are able to take 4 classes. They'll be able to take History 1302, English 1301, Psychology 2301, and Psychology 2314. So those are the courses that they take as juniors. Now, if they were not able to join the program until, let's say, their sophomore year, then during their junior year, they'll start there instead of with art or computer science. Once they're seniors, they'll be able to take English 1302, Math 1314, English 2327, Government 2305, and Government 2306. So those are the courses that are offered as seniors. So if they join as juniors, then those are the only courses they'll be able to take as seniors. So if they start as freshmen, by the time they're seniors, if they're able to take all these courses that are listed, they'll have earned 33 college credit hours. Now remember that they're not expected to take all of them. If they don't want to, they can only take whatever they want. But remember that some of them are high school requirements, graduation requirements. So it is a good idea to take them in high school, because not only are you getting high school credit, but you're also getting college credit. All right? So what happens if I want to get as many hours as the early college students? Well, that means that if you want to do that, that means you're going to have to go to the Summer College Academy that is offered by Laredo College and United ISD, and we offer the students 6 hours per summer. So that means that 3 hours for summer session 1, 3 hours for summer session 2. So if you keep on taking those hours, especially if you join as a freshman, you'll be able to gain up to 18 additional credit hours. So you'll have a total of 51 hours by the time you graduate if that's all you do. Now, we also offer AP advanced placement courses. If the student gets a 3 or better, Laredo College will grant them credit, and they'll also contribute to those hours that they're working towards an associate's degree. Now, we also have the Gold online courses, and these are for juniors and seniors if they're welcome to take these courses online at school for additional credit hours, not just dual credit, but just college hours. So as you can see, this is just similar to the early college, except that it will require that you go to Summer College Academy. It will require that you take advanced placement courses and score, especially in the exam 3 or better, or you can take online courses, the Gold online courses. So that it is a possibility to earn an Associates of Art before you graduate from high school by doing these things. I know that a lot of your children are involved in extracurricular activities, so this is a way of being more sort of like flexible with the courses that your children want to take while they're in high school. So I mentioned college credit only. That's what we call concurrent enrollment. So in other words, some of the courses they're going to take during the Summer College Academy are only for college credit, which means that even though we are offering them as part of the program, the students will only get college credit. So in other words, the grade they get is only going to appear on their college transcript, not on their high school transcript. So that's what we call concurrent enrollment. All right, so it's different from dual credit. So it's similar to dual enrollment because dual enrollment means that you're both a student at your high school and a student at Laredo College. Okay, so that's the difference between concurrent enrollment, dual credit, and dual enrollment. These are some terms that you're going to hear quite a bit. So what is the process? Well, if you're an 8th grader, the application deadline is on Friday, May the 19th, 2023. And the reason it's in May is because you need to have a TSI score, a valid TSI score, and I'll explain to you what the TSI is in a moment. The application, you can go through the portal. It's called the ESP Enrollment Online Portal, but this is only for 8th graders. If you're in high school and you want to be part of the program, then you pretty much go to your counselor, and your counselor directs you to whatever it is that you need to do to get into the program. So the portal is going to be open tomorrow, and this is what it looks like. And what you need to do is essentially create an account. But you got to be very careful, though, when you create an account because you want to make sure that your child or yourself enter the correct email address of the child. So that way the account can be created accordingly and you'll get an email that you created the account successfully. It's very sensitive to the student ID, so you cannot use the student ID again once you create an account. So this sort of like prevents you from creating several accounts. But if there's an error, if you make an error and then you can't really get in, you can just email us, esp@uisd.net, and we'll fix that error. Once you are able to get in, then you log in and you're able to fill in the application. I believe there's 4 tabs that you have to fill in with information. And you also have to upload your 7th and 8th grade report card, your TSI scores, and then there's a consent form that will allow your child to be part or to be considered part of the program after the counselor evaluates everything they submit. All right? So am I doing fine, Ms. Ramirez? Ms. Lanese? Yes? Okay. So Ms. Lanese is interpreting for us, so I'm trying to not speak too fast. I'm trying to be, okay, slow. Okay. All right. So then I'm going to go back to where I was. There's only one application for wherever you're at, whatever middle school you're at, whatever private school you're at, it's always the same application. It's the same for everyone. You do need a score of 85, and your 8th grade counselor will tell you whether you have that score or not. Again, we're looking at your 7th grade and 8th grade report card. If you want more information, you can go to the website. You'll notice that if you go here, that's my picture right there. If you scroll down, there's a section for dual enrollment in this area right here. And everything that you need will be in this area right here. So it'll be the PowerPoint presentation will be there, the video recording will be there as well. It is in YouTube format so that you could also see the captions at the bottom in Spanish if you would like. So again, this is the site that you would go to in case you want more information. Even the brochures that you have, you can also get more electronically by going to the website. So if you go to this area right here, you'll notice we have information for the magnet programs, and then we have the Early Start Pathway program. And I encourage you to watch this video because this involves a student from LBJ last year that was able to garner 60 credit hours and earn an associate's degree through the Early Start Pathway program. All right, so when you're filling out your application, you need to let us know which high school you're intending to go to. They must have current phone numbers and email address because once we give the information to the high schools, they will be contacting you to advise you when their meetings are going to be taking place, as well as the registration process with Laredo College. So the TSIA 2.0 is the test that your child needs to take in reading and writing. This test is administered through your 8th grade campus. If your child is taking college and career readiness class, every 8th grader takes that class, and through that class, they prepare them for this test. So some of them might take it in the fall, some of them might take it in the spring. If your child is at a private school, Laredo College and TAMIU also offer that service for a fee, where the testing is given either at TAMIU or Laredo College. Remember that the online application requires a parent or guardian signature, so it is very important that you download that document, read it, sign it, and upload it again, so that way we'll be able to review the data that you have submitted for your child. Again, remember I told you that you need an overall grade of an 85. We're looking at your 7th grade report card, and we're only looking at math, science, language arts reading, and social studies. That includes your 7th grade report card and only the fall term of your 8th grade report card. So we add them all up and we get an average, and if it's an 85 or better, then you're able to apply. You can still apply if you don't know, but your counselor will let you know. And then, because after the deadline, your counselors are the ones that review the information. All right, so all students must take the TSI 2.0. So what is the TSIA 2.0? Well, it's the Texas Success Initiative program. It's through the state of Texas, and that's like a college exam. That exam tells the college or university whether you qualify to take on-level college courses. If you do not get a good score on it, that means that you're not ready for college courses, all right? So this has to be taken before the deadline so that we can have an idea whether you're going to need extra help or not, because we do offer an academy during the summer to also help your child pass that test. So if your child passes that test during the summer because they're not able to pass it during the school year, then they'll be able to be part of the program before the campuses have their meetings in the fall. So that's a good thing. So what is it that you need to get on the test in order to qualify? Well, you need to get, if you get a score of 945 or better and an essay of 5, you qualify. And I'll explain what those numbers mean. Or if you get less than 945, you're going to get kicked into what is called a diagnostic test, and you have to get a score of 5 or better with an essay score of 5 or better. And I'll explain to you as well what the diagnostic is. So in other words, there's a lot of opportunity. So if your child gets kicked into a diagnostic test, that means that you're going to have to answer more questions so that the program can determine whether you are college ready or not. All right. So parent permission is required to be part of the testing. So I'm sure that if you're in one of our middle schools, your child has already been tested in the fall. I think some of them are being tested in the spring as well, soon. Again, if you want to test through Laredo College or Tammy, you can also do that. If you don't know, if your child hasn't taken the test, you can ask your 8th grade counselor and they'll be able to assist you. So if they don't, let's say again, if they don't do it well, they don't do well in middle school, when they get into high school, they'll be given that opportunity again to take that test. All right? So again, contact your 8th grade counselor in case you want to test if you haven't tested. And they'll be able to give you the schedule so that way your child can prepare for it. By the way, they're also being prepared through that college and career readiness class. They have curriculum that helps them prepare for it. So I recommend you take that test as soon as possible because that's how we're going to know what type of help you need to prepare you for that test if you were not successful. So remember that, I don't know if you heard, but this test is it's criterion referenced computer adaptive assessment, which means artificial intelligence determines how many questions your child's going to get based on how many they're getting right. So it is unlike any test that they've taken before. So sometimes it tends to be a challenge. So before they can take this assessment, they have to do what is called a pre-assessment activity. And it's not really a pre-test, it's just to show your child how to use that test, the program. So since Laredo College is our partner, you would have to go to Laredo College and create an account like they indicate on that site. And then once you create the account, it'll take you through a series of questions and suggestions before you take the actual test. So before you take the TSI, you first have to take this pre-assessment activity. All right. So let's talk about the TSIA and what it means, these numbers that I just gave you. What do they mean? So the ELAR component, which is the only one that is required for now to qualify, the TSI math is not required till when you're a sophomore or a junior, depending on what type of math courses you're taking. So the test consists of 3 tests. It's the multiple choice college readiness classification test. That's the first one. Then the other one is the multiple choice diagnostic test if your child doesn't do well on the CRC. And then there's the essay. So the performance determines the combination of the tests that are going to be given. So again, if your child really does well on the first part, they will not get a diagnostic test. But if they don't, they'll get the first part and the diagnostic. The essay is required no matter what. But the essay, the computer won't give it to your child unless you do well on either the first test or the diagnostic. So you will first be administered the multiple choice, and that is a test made up of 30 questions. It covers 4 subcategories and addresses 2 content categories. So I'm going to go very, very quickly through this because of the time that we have. So the 4 subcategories are text analysis and synthesis, and the other categories are content revision and editing for conventions. So in essence, we're talking about 2 content categories. It's reading focused and writing focused. So that's the first test. Now, if you don't do well on these 30 questions, then the computer is going to give you the diagnostic. So the diagnostic is an additional test that the computer will give you to determine whether you are stronger in some other areas that might possibly allow you to qualify as being college ready. All right, so the diagnostic contains an additional 48 multiple choice questions, of which 24 are reading focused and 24 are writing focused. So remember, if you don't do well on the first set of questions, they're going to give you 48 questions more. And then based on how you do here, then it'll either allow you to do the essay or not. So the essay requires that you write a 300 to 600 word essay in response to a selected prompt. Again, when you're writing the essay, they're going to look at purpose and focus, organization and structure, development and support, and sentence variety and style. Remember that artificial intelligence is what's going to be grading your essay. It's not really a live person unless artificial intelligence cannot grade your essay, as well as mechanical conventions and critical thinking. You are not allowed to use a dictionary or other outside resources. All right, so how is your essay test scored? Remember I told you about artificial intelligence. Well, essays are electronically scored by an automated system that's specifically designed to score writing samples. This system evaluates the meaning of text, not just grammatical correctness or spelling. Your essay is compared for similarities to a set of at least 500 other student essays that have been graded by 2 expert human readers. It's then placed in the same scoring category as the essays it most resemble. Once you enter your essay into an on-screen text box and submit it for scoring, the system automatically evaluates the essay and returns a score of 1 to 8, as well as a holistic score description that summarizes the quality of your essay. The score and description also appear on your score report. So, what score do you need to get on your essay? It has to be a 5 or better. If it's less than 5, you will not be able to pass the essay part, especially if you pass the multiple choice part. So there is an opportunity where you pass the multiple choice but don't pass the essay. Or let's say you are allowed to do the essay, you pass the essay, but you don't pass the multiple choice. So then next time you would need to pass whatever it is that you did not pass. So if your essay is too short to be evaluated, written on a topic other than the one that was presented, or written in a language other than English, you will be given a 0. So how do you prepare for this? Well, there is a portal that you can go to specifically for the students in Texas. And if you go to this link, it'll pretty much give you the resources that you need to prepare you for that. Oh, I guess it's not working. Oh, there it is. So this is specifically for students in Texas if they need help with preparing for the assessment. Okay? It is free TSIA2 practice resources. If you scroll through it, it pretty much gives you all the information that you need in order to prepare for this test. Also, if you have taken the test and you did not do well on it, you can create an account. And then once you create an account and submit a code that they give you after the test, that will allow the site to give your child the information that they need to review for the areas that they're weak in, so that way next time they take it, they'll be prepared. All right? So this is the site that you go to. Again, this PowerPoint will be available on the website that I showed you, as well as the recording. We'll also have the recording available, so that way you can see all this information. But you're going to hear firsthand from the students that are here, as well as the teachers, to help you with some of the things that you need. Okay. I don't know what happened, Mr. Zamora. Oh, it says something about. Oh, Mr. Zamora is in the booth back there. It's not my imaginary friend. He's back there. All right. Mr. Zamora. Okay, thank you. All right. So then moving along, these are the, well, let's see. Okay. Once you're part of the program and you meet all the qualifications, TSI, 7th and 8th grade report cards, you will be notified by these administrators to see if they qualified for the early start pathway. They'll be calling you or emailing you or meeting with your child to give them the paperwork that they need to be ready for the registration process. So if the child is accepted, the parent needs to attend a meeting. It is mandatory by any of the campuses, depending on which campus you're at. They are required to submit an LC application for admission, but now it's electronic, so it'll be done electronically. And then, of course, there's an agreement that they have to sign, and you'll get your handbook as well that pretty much has all the requirements to be part of the program. And what happens if you don't do well in some of the classes, what happens. So keep those things in mind. All that information will be given to you in the fall once your child is part of the program. Now, if your child does not make it as an 8th grader, they can try again as a 9th grader, or they can try again as a 10th grader, or they can try again one last time as an 11th grader. So they can try whatever year they would like, and they can take the courses that they want. They don't have to take all the courses that are listed there. It just depends on the student schedule. All right, so these are the people that we just introduced. Ms. Carla Peña Nunez is at United. Mr. Jesus Sandoval is at Alexander. He's not here with us today, but Ms. Michelle Lopez is. Ms. Emily Monsivais is United South. She's not here, but Ms. Andrea Garza is. And Ms. Emily Benavides is from LBJ. And they're here with their administrators, and these are the people that you would need to call if you want to test your child at their campus once they become high school students or it's during the summer. So Mr. David De La Rosa from United, Ms. Michelle Lopez from Alexander, Ms. Andrea Garza from United South, and Ms. Guadalupe Ayala from LBJ. All right? So if you want to get a hold of the people in my department, I'm listed there first, and then Ms. Lisa Dan Flores is the GT coordinator. Ms. Amparo Lanese, who's doing the translating, is our dual enrollment coordinator. Then we have Ms. Amelia Moore and Ms. Dora Lopez out there that were helping you with the pamphlets and brochures and also signing you in as well. Okay? So, again, we have the mic up here, and then we have one over there in case you want to ask any questions to any of these campuses. I am going to allow them to speak a little bit on something they would like to share so that you can get more of a perspective of the program. So I'm going to have each of the academic coordinators or the administrator say a little bit about what type of things you need to look out for in reference to this. So we'll start off with Alexander.
Good evening. This is my 5th year overseeing our dual enrollment program at Alexander High School. One of the things that I always want to stress with our parents and our students is that before you make this commitment to your college career, is that both of you have discussed what this is going to entail, okay? Because it will entail that your child take the time to study for their classes. Plagiarism is a very serious offense, and it could result in your child being withdrawn from the program or withdrawn from a course. And, it's definitely not something that you want. The other thing is that you want to make sure that your child is bought into the program and that they're going to be taking the time to study, because you don't want your child to have to drop a course and receive their first W or to fail a course, because at the end of the day, this is you're not just your high school GPA any longer, it's your college GPA that remains permanent. So I always stress whenever we have our parent meetings before students enter into our early start pathway is that the discussion occur between you and your child so that they understand what they are signing up for.
I have a question for one of the students. What is a W?
When you drop a course, it goes as a W on your college transcript, so it means withdrawal, right? Because you withdraw from the course. So, yeah.
So that's not a good thing?
No.
Oh, okay, that's not a good thing. All right, LBJ?
Well, thank you for being here, parents and students. It's good to see a lot of interest in these programs. One of the cool things about it, from a parent point of view, is that you're helping your child get some college hours in, and that's what it sounds really, really good, and it is a great opportunity. But like Miss Michelle from Alexander said, your child has to be prepared mentally, physically for it, because it's a college course being taught at a high school. It's not the other way around. So the LC curriculum is what we use embedded with the TEKS. So it is, it's not impossible, but a lot of parents that aren't really, and students, they don't realize it is a college course. The only difference is that they're taking it at a school campus, at a high school campus. So that's important. There's also anything that you do during your dual program does follow your transcript forever. So it doesn't go from like LC and then you go to, let's say you go to, UT or TAMU, that transcript, it's yours. So it doesn't stop at high school, it goes with you. So whatever grade you get, not only does it affect your high school credit, it also affects your college. So if you're later getting into a master's program, it's the same transcript, nothing's gonna be erased from it. But it is a very flexible, very different from the early college programs, because the early college programs are set a certain way. Like all the kids in the early college are gonna take these classes this semester or that semester, and not the early start pathway. It's a little bit more flexible, and it kind of goes with whatever you want. Like let's say you're at a certain sport, and that sport is during the fall, and you decide, I'm not gonna take a college course this semester because you have that flexibility. So those are my 2 cents. But I'll let our student share with you some of his experiences.
We'll talk about flexibility.
Well, for me, since I'm a student athlete, being part of the football team and also taking college courses, it really does help to have that flexibility, especially with the expectations that having college courses and being an athlete. It really allowed me to have the time to focus on those college courses, to get good grades on them, while also being at practice and being there for my team.
Okay, United South, thank you.
Good evening once again. I think that this is all wonderful advice, and I definitely can't stress enough the importance of really discussing academic maturity, which I think has been the topic right now, and understanding the commitment. But I did want to go down this avenue and kind of bring my students in. I think as you're entering the high school, the big question is, we have all these ideas of being involved in many activities, whether it's athletics, it's UIL. And so I kind of brought a sampling of our students to talk about how they've developed and balanced time management when it comes to being an involved student in general, as well as a student who is tackling these college classes. It does take a level of commitment. They can probably also, attest to just the ability to manage time, and then also the importance of communication with their instructors. A lot of time there's this big leap that happens with our students where they have to move away from, the teacher constantly guiding and the mom and dad constantly calling to them, having to become independent learners and knowing, hey, I'm really struggling right now. Where can I get help? How can I get help? And then in addition to balancing the time and the commitments they have all around the school. But I think it's best to hear that from our students.
Yeah. Time management. Go ahead.
Okay, I'm in the Early Start Pathway program, and I'm also in the magnet program, and I'm also a class officer, and I also play tennis. So as you can tell, I'm really involved in the school, but there's still enough time to focus on the classes, and definitely the teachers are really helpful. And if you ever have any questions, you can always go to them. They're all really helpful and understanding. Since you guys will be high schoolers taking these college courses, they'll be a sort of guide, and they'll really guide you through this. And it sounds impossible, but it's really not. Like, it's doable. So
Hello. Along with Kayla, I'm part of my class of representatives. The early start pathway is definitely a responsibility, but I found that you need to be dedicated, self-disciplined, and willing to put in the effort to succeed in these classes. It's completely doable.
Hello, just to add on to Adam's point, taking these classes, you really you take a deep dive into becoming a college student. Even though it does sound intimidating, you really get to immerse yourself into the fun part of college. It's not just challenging. You get to collaborate, you do study groups, like you get to be, it's not copying. In this case, it's not copying off, because like they mentioned, plagiarism, it's a huge risk. You do not want to do that. So you can collaborate with your friends, you get to take points from your essays. It's really fun, especially if you love learning. And as well, I am an athlete, and I try to balance out the both. And so far, it's going well, so I definitely would encourage you all to try to join in.
All right, Mr. De La Rosa.
Good afternoon again, parents. I don't want to sound repetitive, but everything that the other schools have said, it is very true. It is a commitment, and it does take a lot on a child to be part of the program. We did bring some of our students so that they can give you also their experience, but I want to focus a little bit more on the TSI. As I said, it is a big commitment, and you're going to get to have that presentation once your child is a 9th grader. But if your focus right now is to get your child ready so that they can submit their application by May 19th, I want to just take a brief moment in letting you know about the TSI. Mr. Rosales explained very well the components of the ELAR, which is the test that your child would need to take so that they can be part of the program. It is important that you talk to your child. Particularly, I want to focus on the essay. We do notice, at least at the high school, that some of our students are not making the cut because they're not expressing their ideas in an essay format with a length that is considered enough to be passing. We discovered that the students that use a minimum of 500 to 550 words are students that are being successful. Now with this, I don't mean just to write whatever amount of words that don't make any sense, because like Mr. Rosales said, it needs to have some kind of writing structure with some sense on what you're writing about so that it can be graded based on that information. But nonetheless, we have encountered that the students that write at least 500 to 550 words are the students that are being successful. So if you're planning on having your child be part of the program, that would be one of our recommendations and the recommendations that we do give to our students at the high school. Now, as far as the commitment, it is being said, students can participate in magnets, students can be in extracurricular activities, can be part of sports, UIL, and the students can be successful. Is it challenging? Yes, absolutely. We're not gonna lie. The college are being taught at a college level. These are not like your regular high school classes, but all of these students that are here are great examples of how successful the program is. At United High School, we currently have 563 students, and I can tell you that all of them are successful because they are in the program. And it seems like our program keeps on growing, and we are really happy to serve the students, especially of our community. And I just have one last recommendation. As 8th graders, you're gonna submit an application for your child. Let's say that you picked United as your school, but then last minute something happened and you decide now to go to Alexander. As parents, it's gonna be your responsibility to let Ms. Lopez or the school know that you submitted an application to that school so that they can include you in the application process. It becomes, those are one of the challenges that we've seen at our high school, that students that submit an application in May and then they decide to change schools, then we come to the process of now you have to submit an LC application and we don't include them because we were not made aware. So please cooperate with us so that we can better service your child. And I'm gonna give now an opportunity to an open mic to our students so that they can express their experience in the program.
Yeah, if they can talk a little bit about the TSI test they took.
Hello, I am Zara Mondragon. I'm currently have been in the program since freshman year, as well as magnet and band. And for me, band was the main problem because it's a very daily thing, a very daily weekends. And if your child wants to be part of the band program, they can also be in the college program. You just have to know how to manage your time, make sure you're on top of your deadlines. And personally, I'm really thankful for the opportunity to be in the program because it has put me ahead in the college. Applying for transcripts and stuff like that, you get to see your GPA, and I can say that I've saved a lot of money taking the classes here in the high school rather than taking them in the university.
Hello, everyone. Just want to remind you, my name is Carla Rocha. I am a senior, and one thing that I really gotten to enjoy is being able to balance everything. So I'm in quite a bit. Right now I'm working 2 jobs, and I'm also in a bunch of extracurriculars such as UIL, band, NHS, HVAC, criminal justice, and it's quite a bit. I'm not going to lie, and it is very challenging to manage everything, but I can assure you that you will have the time. If you make the time, you will have it. And if you put in the effort, your classes will be done and you will have great outcomes. And I mean, this program is really going to be able to push your college career ahead of your peers and yourself. It is a great foundation for your education and your future.
Good afternoon, good evening, as the sun already said behind you guys. My name is Emiliano Maldonado. I'm a senior, and I've been in the Early Start Pathway program since my freshman year. Just as my peers were saying, organization and getting on top of your deadlines is a major factor in committing to the Early Start Pathway program. I recommend planning using Google Calendar or something to make sure that you're on top of everything. Planning around your deadlines will seriously make your life easier. I know it has made my life easier. Once you get assigned something, I take the liberty to go ahead and finish that assignment ahead of time. You'll be freer later on in the week, and you'll just have more time to do things. I also wanted to expand on the TSI, as they were mentioning. We have a lot of resources. If you're unsure, or if you've already failed it one time, that's not it. You can take it again. There's no worries. There's so many resources online. You just have to look for them. A lot of the time, it's just being accustomed to how they're asking the questions, making sure that those questions don't trick you with the way that they're worded. So just take the time to study. I promise you it'll make a huge difference. Being in this Early Start Pathway, as my peers have mentioned, it does save you a lot of money, especially if you're committing to a school in Texas. It's very likely that these credits will transfer. And yeah, we can graduate with, as you mentioned, Mr. Rosales mentioned that there was a student that graduated with 60 hours already in an associate's degree, so that's pretty great. Thank you.
Thank you. Back to Alexander. So I noticed that one of the students is wearing a magnet. What is it? What do you call it?
Scrub.
A scrub. Okay. A magnet scrub. So I'm going to ask the other students that are present with her to help. After you tell us, how is it going with you in magnet and the program? Oh, they're all in magnet.
Yes,
Oh.
all 4 of us are in magnet right now.
Okay, cool.
Yes. But yes, I've been balancing magnet with early pathway since freshman year. And it's just time management. But that was one of the more challenging parts in the beginning. But once you get used to it, it was kind of just making time for the coursework and your magnet coursework, but really you're gonna have time. And I have it magnet and AP classes, and I'm in sports and clubs, and it was challenging at first, but it's doable, just time management. Do you guys?
Go ahead. Y'all can say something.
I've been in magnet since freshman year. Well, yeah, all of us have. And I found that it's a very fun program to be a part of. We get to perform a lot of hands-on sort of labs, right? And I found that sophomore year and junior year courses are the most fun, where we get to learn about the anatomy and the, what would we call the junior one? The dental. Yeah, we get to learn about the dental part of the medical field, and yeah, it's just a lot of fun.
Yeah, so as Aldo said, doing like the early start pathway and magnet at the same time is totally doable. It's just, again, time management and just really sticking to the course. Like I would like to say that these courses have made me become a better person. They have definitely expanded my vocabulary and definitely tested me to my limits. And I cannot thank enough for like how much this is gonna prepare me for college. And on top of that, just giving me college hours. So it's definitely doable, and any extracurricular activities, you can definitely do it. Like just managing your time and really putting in the work will be a reward in and of itself.
To expand further upon Leo's point, I'm part of 4 separate programs. I play violin, I'm in HOSA, I'm in Early Start Pathway, and I'm in Magnet. And I'm gonna admit, at first, it was very difficult to rearrange everything so that I have time to do certain things, but at the end of the day, it's very doable. Your schedule will feel more flexible than you think. You just need to prioritize certain things over the other and make sure you get the highest grades possible. But it's totally doable. You're gonna be able to do it. You just need to learn how to concentrate. You're gonna need to learn how to improvise and just flow with whatever comes at you.
You know, my doctor and my dentist are both graduates from the Alexander Magnet program, so they take good care of me. I'm gonna now relate to the teachers at LBJ. Ms. Martinez, if you can give us some insight as to what is it that the children will expect from your class?
Well, our students are kind of shocked at first, as the students have expressed over here, but they do get the hang of it very early on. They understand that they do need to learn how to communicate with their teachers. That communication is key, especially when they're out, because they have all these different activities. But they get the hang of it. They get the hang of it pretty well. Something that they do need to understand is that if they are planning to get into some kind of program in college, like going into teaching, going into nursing, their GPA counts. So they do need to make sure that they do not fail. Yeah, we don't want the W's, but for sure, failing, no, it will really, really hurt them. So just to keep that in mind as they go through their classes, and if they have to make that tough choice between a W and failing a course, the W is preferable. But yes, students are successful. They can count on their teachers. Most of us stay after school with them whenever they need. I just came here straight from school. I was staying with a bunch of kids, and we're there for them when they need us.
Thank you, ma'am. United South? Teacher?
Good evening. I teach writing classes, English 1301 and English 1302. We start off with writing. The best thing I can say as the teacher is it is amazing to see your kids grow. Okay, the things that they write to be able to discover themselves, as opposed to a traditional, high school English class where it's just English high school. They get to pursue their interests and start discovering at an early age who they want to be and, who they want to be when they grow up. And it's beautiful to see them grow. I have a great time teaching the college classes. And then after the writing classes, we do move on to literature for English 2327, which is American literature, Fiction was not invented yet. We have a lot of essays and a lot of poems to read, and it's a struggle, but then also to see them enjoy that and understanding, how the world makes sense around them. So it's not just for college credit, it's also for personal growth. I do love to see your children grow. Okay?
Thank you. United High School?
Hi again. This is Mr. Gonzalez. There's a lot of parents out here, but I'm going to address this to the students, or future college students, should I say. I will say this. Laredo College promotes, I'm a dual instructor, and I've been doing it for about 4 years. Just as the students are also in extracurricular, I'm also a coach for UIL, so it is possible to teach 1301 and still get away with extracurricular. But here's what I wanted to talk about. Laredo College has a policy, and it's about being proactive. Now, what does proactive mean? I think there's a universal message between all 4 schools here up on the stage about commitment. And being proactive means that the student takes the initiative to be on top. You're not so much dependent on the teacher, but little by little you start learning to be self-assertive. You start learning that self-responsibility, keeping up with deadlines, keeping up with projects. There can never be an excuse of negligence. There can never be an excuse, well, I was absent, I don't know what's going on. We learned from COVID that even though we're not face-to-face, the class will continue. As long as there's technology, the class will continue. The best thing you can do, I have 2 of my previous students up here with me, and they can tell you as well, communication is key. Communication is key. During the time that I've been teaching, we had these students that unfortunately got sick with COVID. They were out for a week, maybe 2 weeks, but the class continues. And nonetheless, one of the things that made them stay in the program is their commitment, their proactive approach. And that's something that we also promote. It's not only about writing, it's about an attitude changer. It's about looking at your class and working for what you want. What do you want out of it? So it's not on the teacher, it's not on the parents, it's not on anybody but you, the young adult, the college student. That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Gonzalez. I'm going back to Alexander because most of the teachers you heard are English teachers, but Alexander has, we have an English teacher also. A couple? One? Okay, one. And I want to hear from them as well in terms of, how are their classes that are offered at Alexander different from the classes that are offered, let's say, at United South, or LBJ?
That would be you, Mr. Regal.
Well, hello everyone. I'm Mr. Regal, and I teach the Computer Science 1301. And my course is one of the first courses they take. So I'm introducing the college a way of life, you can say. So I have to give them their Palomino ID. I teach them how to use Canvas, which is the learning management system that LC uses. So yes, once they start, at first they have to get accustomed to the change, because in regular courses they use the Google Classroom, but we use Canvas. So they just have to get used to logging in, checking what assignments are due daily, even if they're absent. But this course is a lot of fun. We get in depth on computer science, and these skills that they learn in my course, they use it throughout their lives, in all their academic career, and also in their personal lives. So hopefully you all apply to Alexander and see your child there.
You have any other teacher that would like to give him?
Okay. I teach the history 1301 and 1302. So I get them after Mr. Regal has them. I get them as sophomores. And it's in my class where they're going to get a lot of reading and a lot of writing. I probably teach them a lot, or I remind them a lot of these skills of time management and study skills, and I even go right down to the basics on making sure they know how to write properly, not just what the computer can generate, say, oh, okay, he can write, but they have to know how to structure it for the content, because we check for content. And this is where we can actually determine on how successful the student is going to be. And I do have to work with them, especially if they have potential, obviously, or just to help build them up. And so that way they can continue on, because after me, then they come back to me or Ms. Canales again, and with 1302, and then they end up with the English and the math and the psychology and the governments. they're gonna need these skills, so I'm helping them with the basic skills at the same time they're getting the history. So it's, and I have to make sure that they know how they can balance everything, because they're not just the student in my class taking a college class as a sophomore in high school, but they're also involved in so many other things. I have kids that are in athletics, all of them basically. I have kids that are in, yes, the magnets. I have kids that are working at the same time and they're getting their first jobs. And I don't know, everything, you know, it's like I have my UIL kids and I have the kids that are in their student council and any other organization, and they have to balance it. And, you know, keeping up with that, it can be difficult, but the biggest thing is it's gonna be on the kid, on the child, to make sure that he's ready to do this. Because if they feel that you're pushing them, as the parent pushing them, that sometimes they shut down, and we don't want that. Does the child want to do this? And many of them do. And it's very evident by the kids that come through our classroom on which ones really want to. And they get really pumped up about it, and I love it. And this is why I still got these kids, and they keep coming back, and I love it. And apparently they like it too.
So we have 3 more teachers remaining, so I'm going to throw my last question. Tell us about your credentials and the type of training you have in order to be able to teach these courses.
Hello, yes, I'm Mrs. Rigal once again, and I teach the English composition courses at Alexander High School. So we go through thorough training both with Laredo College, where we're in very close contact with our colleagues there as far as the standards for the higher college board. So they pretty much pass everything down to us, and we follow their guidelines and policies very closely. But we also receive a lot of extensive training with UISD that supports what we do in our classrooms and instruction as well. So we are very thoroughly trained. We have immense expertise in our field, but not just that, extreme passion for what we teach, which hopefully we impart to our young leaders here. And I would like to mention, going back to that previous question, what we offer. So definitely rigorous critical thinking skills, but also a community of learners where they will find passion, and they will find like-minded individuals who are deeply committed to knowledge, to education, and to their future. So it really allows them to grow together. And I would also like to take a moment to recognize these young leaders and individuals who have joined us tonight. Ms. Rupani, who I've known now for quite a while. She's also a small business owner, so just throwing it out there. So that way our community can continue to support our young leaders. But just having them up here and having them in this program, it speaks volumes to who they are and their commitment and passion. Thank you.
So no matter where you take the class, Laredo College is involved. And all of you must have a master's degree to teach the course. All right. Anything else that Alexander would like to add? Or the teachers? No?
Okay.
Remember that if you have a question, you can come up and we'll answer it. If not, that's pretty much going to be the end of the session once they answer the question.
There's a question back there. I just wanted to say that entering the early start pathway, one of the biggest challenges for me was getting adjusted to the level of writing that was required through each course. That was actually definitely the biggest challenge for me. A lot of writing, signature assignments, essays, weekly quizzes, but I noticed that the further along I got with each course, the more confident I've grown in that skill. And especially after taking Ms. Rigal's English 1301 and 1302, I feel super confident in that now entering college in the fall. And also I'd like to add that doing rotations and field trips for Magnet in and out of LMC and being in tennis where we have to go out of town and we miss many days of school, communicating with my teachers was huge because they help us in any way they can. They really do. So whether it be like extra tools or resources or providing extensions when absolutely necessary, they're always there to help. So yes. Thank you.
And again, we appreciate you staying for this session. It's a recording session, so you'll see it on our website. I'd like to thank every single campus that was here. They're going to stay here in case you want to come up and ask them any questions as well. So again, I really appreciate your time, and I'm glad that you're concerned about your child's education, and we're here to serve your needs. So just let us know any questions you might have. Email us, call us, and we'll try to answer it as best as we can. But again, the Early Start Pathway is not the early college. The early college lottery will be on February 15th and 16th. So if your child doesn't get picked, there's always the Early Start Pathway program. All right. So do you have a question? Okay. Oh, okay, cool.
So my question is, if our child applied to the early college, they get accepted, but we kind of like what we talk here more because of the many reasons you all stated, one of them being that flexibility. How do we go about that then?
Well, let's say you stay at the early college for a semester. You would have to stay for a semester because you don't want to drop the program in the middle of the grading period, because Laredo College will not allow you to transfer that class to another campus.
Is there any option though if they're accepted to decline, kind of decline and then apply instead to this program?
Yes, we have a lot of early college students that have dropped the program, that have transferred back to their campus from, let's say, LBJ. And now that we're going to have it at Alexander and United, they are able to be part of the Early Start Pathway program if they're no longer in the early college program. But they can't be in both. They can only be one or the other. Yeah. Okay. Anybody else? Again, I thank you very much for your time, and thank you, Ms. Ramirez, Ms. Laneste, for translating. And thank you for all of you being here. We really appreciate your help. So now you're recorded. This session has been recorded, and we now have this to treasure for our parents that were not able to be here. Thank you again for all your help.